everyone, welcome back to my little reading corner. I'm sitting on the floor today because I just can't be bothered with the chair. I just find it so much comfier, and I actually think it's quite nice to be able to see all the books. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And also I'm in my dressing gown because we're in quarantine and I'm living in my dressing gown right now, so we're keeping it real. So what I think I'm going to do is probably flick through the book and show you kind of, you know, the general vibe of it and all the gorgeous illustrations and things. Stop messaging me. And then I think I'll read you one or two of the stories from within the book. So hopefully that will inspire you in your creative pursuits or just calm you down, because it is a shit time at the minute for pretty much everybody. You know, this whole, I don't want to talk about it because that's not what this channel's for necessarily, but I do think that we could all do with just a little bit of calm and peace, and stories can kind of help us escape from what's going on in our daily lives and all that stress. So I would like to just show you some beautiful pictures, a gorgeous book, and read you a few stories. Today I've got a really exciting one to show you, and I just can't wait to actually get into it. So it's a book that I got quite recently, but I've never actually had a proper look through it. I've kind of, you know, flicked through it and things, and it looks amazing. And it is this massive thing. It's Goddess, A Celebration in Art and Literature, and I actually got this for £5 from a charity shop, which is just ridiculous. So I was just in the shop buying some, I don't know, random crap, and when I got to the till, the lady was actually reading this, and I was like, oh, what's that? Because it had a picture of, I don't know, some goddess looking being in it, and I was like really intrigued. And she showed me it, and I was just like, is it for sale? I felt really bad because she was like in the middle of reading it and I just kind of stole it from her, but whatever, it's a shop, so you know. And yes, she was like, yeah, it's £5 if you want it. And I was just like, yes, give. Because it is just, I mean, it could not be more me. You know, this is just me in a book. So this wig is being really annoying. I cut it myself, and as you can obviously tell, and I'm waiting on some dry shampoo because obviously it's really shiny and you can so tell it's a wig, but I'm kind of impressed with the cut, apart from the fringe, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, so I thought today we could just have a little look through the book and get to know it together, and I'll see if I can find it online anywhere, and I'll put a link in the description if I manage to find where you can buy it. But yeah, I am so excited, so let's just get into it. So, I mean, the contents page is like the most ridiculous, humongous contents page that I've ever seen. And it's got so much in it, so I'll read you out the sections. So part 1, Mother of the Universe. Part 2 is Elemental Magic, Earth, Water, Fire and Air. Part 3 is Heavenly Bodies. Part 4 is the Goddess of Love and Pleasure. So I'm guessing that they're going to have a bit of, yeah, they've got Aphrodite in there. They've got Freya in there, of course. Don't think they've got any Venus. Anyway, part 5 is the Suffering of the Goddess. So I think in there they've got Maka in there, or Maka, however you want to pronounce that. Part 6 is A Terrible Beauty. Part 7, The Goddess and Her Mate. 8 is Hidden Goddesses, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, which will be really interesting. And then part 9 is Guardian of the Soul. So they've got, within each section, they've got sort of subsections which are kind of all stories or specific goddesses that they're kind of honing on. And I really kind of love the titles of them. So here in part 2, Elemental Magic, we've got Grandmother Spider Gets the Fire, Navajo, and then Paula Gunn Allen, which is obviously who wrote it. So they've got a section Hymn to Gaia, and then in brackets Greek, and then Homer. So it tells you the story title and then, you know, the origin of the either the myth or the belief system, and then who kind of wrote whatever they're going to be discussing. So let's get into it. So the first story that I've decided to read for us is Where the Frost Comes From. So this is an Australian story, and here it says, important mythical themes tend to appear simultaneously in apparently unrelated cultures. In Greece, people were told of 7 maidens who were transported to heaven after being pursued by Orion the hunter. In Hindu mythology, we have the 7 mothers who were pursued by Agni, the god of fire. This example is from Australia. And I apologise in advance if I get all the pronunciations wrong. The Mime, or Pleiades, once lived on the earth. They were 7 sisters remarkable for their beauty. They had long hair to their waist, and their bodies sparkled with icicles. Their father and mother lived among the rocks, away on some distant mountain, staying there always, never wandering about as their daughters did. When the sisters used to go hunting, they never joined any other tribes, though many tried from time to time to make friends with them. One large family of boys in particular thought them so beautiful that they wished them to stay with them and be their wives. These boys, the Berai Berai, used to follow the Mime about, and watching where they camped, used to leave offerings there for them. The Berai Berai had great skill in finding the nests of bees. First, they would catch a bee and stick some white down or white feather with some gum on its back and its hind legs. Then they would let it go and follow it to its nest. The honey they found they would put in wirras, spelled W-I-R-R-E-S, in brackets bark containers, and leave at the camp of the Mime, who ate the honey but listened not to the wooing. But one day old Muruna, which translates as fiery ancestor, stole 2 of the girls, capturing them by stratagem. He tried to warm the icicles off them, but succeeded only in putting out his fire. After a term of forced captivity, the 2 stolen girls were translated to the sky. There they found their 5 sisters stationed. With them they have since remained, not shining quite so brightly as the other 5, having been dulled by the warmth of Waruna's fires. When the Berai Berai found that the Meme had left his earth forever, they were inconsolable. Maidens of their own tribe were offered to them, but as they could not have the Meme, they would have none. Refusing to be comforted, they would not eat, and so pined away and died. The spirits were sorry for them, and pleased with their constancy, so they gave them to a place in the sky, and there they are still. Orion's sword and belt we call them, but to the Danes, which are the Aborigines, they are still known as the Berai Berai, the boys. At one time of year, in remembrance that they once lived on earth, the Maimai broke off some ice from themselves and throw it down. When, on waking in the morning, the Danes see the frost everywhere, they say, "The Maimai have not forgotten us. They have thrown some of their ice down. We will show we remember them too." Then they take a piece of ice and hold it to the septum of the noses of the children who have not already had theirs pierced. When the septums are numb with the cold, they are pierced, and a straw or bone is placed through them. "Now," say the Danes, "these children will be able to sing as the Maimai sing." When thunder is heard in the winter time, the Danes say, "There are the Maimai bathing again." That is the noise that they make as they jump, doubled up, into the water. When playing Bubbalmame, I believe that's how it's pronounced, for whoever makes the loudest flop wins the game, which is a favourite one with the people of Earth too. When the noise of the Maimai is heard, the Danes say too, "Soon rain will fall, the Maimai will splash the water down, it will reach us in 3 days." Wow, that's such an interesting and wonderful story. So, the second story that I'm going to read for you is one of my actual personal favourite stories. It's the curse of the goddess Maka. And this is obviously Celtic, so Maka is one of the 3 Morrigans. So, here we go. Once there was a rich man, Crunchu Mac Ognorman. His wife had died and he was very lonely until one day a stately young woman came to him. She sat down by the hearth of the fire, stirring the embers without saying a word to anyone. Later she milked the cow and baked bread, still without speaking. In all her actions, however, she was careful to turn right, following the direction of the sun, a clue as to her identity. When night fell, she crept into Crunchu's bed and made love to him. Everything went well for a time, and we were told that his handsome appearance was delightful to her. His wealth increased, and he enjoyed prosperity in every aspect, but trouble was soon to follow. The annual assembly of the Ulstermen was due to start in the near future, and Crunchu wanted to attend. Maka pleaded with him to stay at home, since his going to the assembly could only cause trouble for her. Crunchu insisted, and finally Maka permitted him to go, only after he had promised not to speak a word to anyone of their union, since only harm could come of that. Crunchu duly promised and set off. This annual assembly was a great occasion, and people came from all over Ireland. One of the main events was a horse racing competition. Although many competed, the horses belonging to the king and queen defeated all before them. At the end of the games, everyone assembled to praise the monarchs. The people were heard to say, "Never before have 2 such horses been seen at the festival as these 2 horses of the king. In all Ireland there is not a swifter pair." Hearing this, Crunchu could not resist. He cried out to the assembled people, "My wife runs quicker than those 2 horses." Furious, the king ordered him to be tied up until his wife could be brought to the contest to race against his horses. Messengers were sent out to Maka, telling her to come urgently to the games. Maka was reluctant to go, as she was pregnant and about to deliver, but upon being told that her husband would otherwise be killed, she agreed and set forth. When she arrived, they told her that she must race against 2 horses of the king. Hearing this, she grew pale and turned to the assembled people with a wrenching plea that would echo in Ireland down the centuries. "Help me," she cried to the bystanders, "for a mother bore each one of you. Give me, O king, but a short delay until I am delivered." Maka appealed to those assembled, not on the basis of an abstract system of ethics or for mercy. She appealed to them on the basis of their relationship to their mothers. A mother bore each one of you. Childbirth was a supremely sacred activity, and the needs of a pregnant woman had hitherto overruled the demands of any egotistical king. But the king refused to delay the race, impatient as he was to demonstrate his own superiority. Finally, Maka threatened that a severe curse would fall upon Ulster. "What is your name?" asked the king, and Maka replied in ominous tones, "My name and the name of that which I shall bear will forever cleave to the place of this assembly. I am Maka, daughter of the Sainrith." The horses were brought up and the race began. Maka won the race easily, and before the king's horse had even reached the winning post, she gave birth to twins, a son and daughter who gave their names to Emain Maka, the twins of Maka. Suddenly all the men assembled were seized with weakness and had no more strength than a woman in her pain. For at the moment of her tragic victory, Maka pronounced a curse on the men of Ulster. "From this hour, the ignominy that you have inflicted upon me will redound to the shame of each one of you. When a time of oppression falls upon you, each one of you who dwells in this province will be overcome with weakness, as the weakness of a woman in childbirth, and this will remain upon you for 5 days and 4 nights. To the 9th generation, it shall be so." I absolutely love that story. It's just like the ultimate strength of womanhood. It's just one of my favourite, and the Morrigan is one of my, my matron goddess. I'm working very closely with her at the moment, so that story very much speaks to me. And that is all for today, so I really hope that you enjoyed having a look at this amazing book that I can't believe was only £5. And I also really hope that you enjoyed the stories and that it brought you a little bit of peace and calm in this absolutely crazy time. And until next time, have a good one.